And if I fumble a verse, first take, I make mistakes, just keep it. No punches pulled, no punches, that's weak shit, fake shit. And if I ever take shit, I'll eat shit. Wasn't for him, I wouldn't be shit. Weep with me as we take a little trip down memory lane. Been it longer than anyone in the game, and I ain't guess a lie about my age. But what about Jermaine? Fuck Jermaine's. He don't belong, speaking minds, don't mention his name. And don't think I don't read your little interviews and see what you're saying. I'm a giant, and I ain't got some move till I'm provoked. When I see you, I'ma step on you and not even know what you midget. Mini me with a bunch of little mini yous walking around in backyard swimming pools. Over 80 million records sold, and I ain't have to do it with 10 or 11-year-olds. Cause what you say is what you say. All right. Migo Runnin, everyone, and welcome to, actually, that was a lie because this is my second take, probably 2 or 3 hours apart, right, from my first take of this, which was significantly longer. I'll say I want to try to tighten this and make it shorter. This is my comparison to what I feel, is, somewhat fair comparison to the upcoming Skyblivion and the possible release of Oblivion Remake. Okay, so the first thing, okay, it's recording good, is with Skyblivion, I think they're using an older engine, which is the Creation Club, or not Creation Club, but Creation Engine, where it's basically what Skyrim is, and they're using the using the blueprint of Skyrim as like the building block for creating Skyblivion. So basically, it's just the game Oblivion, or the skin, like a reskin of Oblivion on top of the Skyrim game. Now, I know there's probably going to be like a few subtle differences here and there, but I think the basic core of the game is going to be this, all of this and how this all looks like. Now, if you're using Script Extender together with Sky UI, you're going to have a different, a different inventory system that will pop up. But I'm not going to get into all of that, okay? So the main thing here, one of the main things I'll say is I like, well, rather I don't like, but it is okay, but it's just kind of very lackluster journal that they have here when compared to Oblivion and the ones before it, especially, Oblivion and Morrowind. But if you look at the journal, it gives you a little paragraph of, what the quest is. You have the name of the quest, and then you have the bullet points, that give you a condensed objective of what you have to do. The thing, though, is whenever your quest is updating, it changes this paragraph, so you don't see, the steps that came before it. And I'd much rather, have that. And if you look down below, these are the ones below this line that are the completed quests, right? Now, when you come to the miscellaneous quests, these are even worse. This is all you get. There's no paragraph to read, so you don't have a little synopsis or anything like that that go into detail about who gave you the quest, where the quest come from, and exactly what you have to do. It just gives you a quick sentence, generic description of what you have to do. So that is, the one thing. It's and a big thing for me is the lackluster journal, which is why I prefer, one of the reasons why I prefer, Oblivion over Skyrim. Okay, and the next thing is, okay, that's fine, whatever, okay, is this. Okay, instead of having, for your character file and whenever you level up, instead of having your attributes, strength, intelligence, luck, personality, all of those, they have streamlined it, not even really streamlined it, but they sort of consolidated those individual attributes to these three basic categories: magicka, health, and stamina. So I'm a mage, so I'm going to be focusing more on that. And then the skills. At first I thought that Oblivion had an exceedingly more amount of skills when compared to Skyrim, but not really. There's like a few extra ones that you get in Oblivion that you don't have here. Acrobatics, athletics, for example, but I think there might even be, a couple more. So it's Daggerfall and Morrowind that have the majority of the quests, but that's still, still better, in Oblivion, the amount that they give you. And it just seems like with each one they're like deleting the amount of skills you have. But still, that's the thing. And I just like the way that the skills are handled a bit more in Oblivion, even though this is still kind of neat. It's kind of cool how you have these different perks to it, but I much prefer in Oblivion where it has a list of how do I go back from here? Okay, the list. Shit, I'm fucking up. But the list of your skills, and what determines what kind of perks you get is dependent upon your mastery level of that skill. So you have, let's take, like the blade, or is it long blade? You start off as novice and then apprentice, is it? And then journeyman and expert and master, kind of like that. And each one of those mastery, you have, like a special, a special advantage that you have. Okay? So that's the other thing. And let me see, what else? I guess I won't get too much into the graphics, but
hundreds of years have gone into assembling this
hold on, let me pause this so I can just, please forgive me, I have to think for a moment. Okay, I guess I'll say this, that the level of detail, I don't want to go too much into it because it's more of, Skyrim being the more newer game, which is what contributes to that, but this game has quite a bit more detail than Oblivion, and you can, it shows a lot more clutter, not just in buildings or, just take a look at this. It looks pretty realistic, and I like that, when food's on the table, it's very delicious looking. But outside in the real world too, you'll see a lot of like the flat grass, the green landscape. And in my first take, maybe I might still make that public so you can kind of compare and see. But outside in the world of Oblivion, there isn't a lot of shrubbery or flora. Where it does shine are the grass and the procedurally generated grass and the leaves on the trees. You could kind of see how it's waving in the wind and everything, so I really love that. Okay, so hold on here, I'm going to switch over to Oblivion now. Before I do that, actually, also what I do like though about Skyrim is that I think they improved upon the magic. So each magic can be designated to each hand, so you can, for example, you can wield a dagger, right, in one hand and have a firebolt in the other hand. So you have this, and you can shoot a firebolt. So magic is better implemented, I feel, in here than it is in Oblivion. In Oblivion, I have to use the keyboard. I have to push Q, or you can assign it to whatever key you like, but I think default it's Q or C. I think for me it's Q, but I don't remember changing that, so it must be Q. And it's very hard to be able to maneuver around and fight and then push Q just to cast a spell. It's much better to have the spell assigned to the mouse button. Like I was hoping maybe I could have it assigned to the side mouse. Can you even see that? I have side mouse buttons on my mouse. You know,
Yes.
cast a spell
What did you
like
need?
that and move around and cast a spell.
One of the few
Okay.
things that keep
Okay, so I just want to illustrate some of those things I talked about. So for the journal, they have separated the quests into 3 separate tabs. So you have your completed ones and current quests, and then your active ones. So say you go to a current, you can click on one of these and then it becomes active, you see. So I click back on that one, on the Braville recommendation, and when you go look at it, you can see all the steps that I took to get to where I'm currently at on the quest. And same thing goes for your completed quests. You can click on that, the Leeuwen recommendations, this one I already did, and you can start at the beginning, and when you go all the way up, it's to completion, you know. Just like with a girl, you know, when a girl writes her journal and she writes like an entry in the date, and it'll say something like, oh, he spoke to me in class today. This is a great first step. So I think tomorrow I'm actually going to ask him out. I hope he says yes. And then it comes to the next day, and then she writes another thing in the journal. She doesn't scratch out, you know, all the entries before it, you know, updating it that way. She just adds to the journal, and that's what we have here. Whereas in Skyrim, it's like they're changing that only one entry. I'm not talking about the bullet points. That stuff updates along the way, but the main paragraph is altered in some way. You know, it updates with you, and I don't like that. I like to be able to see the different steps. So that's what I do like. And to illustrate what I'm talking about here with the attributes, see, you have all of these: strength, intelligence, willpower, agility, speed, endurance, all of that. I much prefer it done this way versus consolidating everything to just those 3 health, magicka, and stamina categories. And as you can see, there's probably a few more. So skills, like I don't think armory was, or that might have been blacksmithing. Was that part of the skill? I'm not too sure. Skill set in Skyrim, but there's like athletics. You don't have that. You know, for example, acrobatics is another one, but I don't know. I think all the magic one is the same, but as you can see, if you look there, when you read the description there on the right of it, you see how it says level, apprentice, here apprentice, and novice. You see what I mean? I don't have anything above apprentice at this point, but each level, you know, that you are at a skill, novice, apprentice, journeyman, all of that comes with a benefit, and you get all previous benefit before it in addition to the current one that you're on. Okay, you get it? So that is why, you know, I much prefer with Skyrim Remake, they use Unreal Engine 5 as their engine versus the what did I say, creation engine that Skyrim uses. And not only that, the really important part is they're using the Oblivion game itself for the remake as the blueprint, as the foundation, the building blocks to create that remake and build it from the ground up. So you're essentially using these assets versus the one in Skyrim. Now, of course, please don't make any mistake. Don't get me wrong that I'm bashing on Skyrim. It is still my favorite game thus far, just because I do like all the other little quality of life improvements, I guess, or the advances they made toward it. But there are things that they changed and took away that I just don't like either. So that's the thing, you know, like spells is a big one. Just overall, you know, I'm able to, well, the level of immersion and to, you know, make yourself feel like part of the world is more or less the same in both Skyrim and Oblivion, and I could pretty much do it with all the other Elder Scrolls, but I find it's more easier to do this in Oblivion and Skyrim, to just really, I guess you can call it LARP. I can LARPing it in a way and really live out a second life. Okay, so I think that's pretty much it, and see you.